Hello, my African brothers and sisters. How are you guys doing? This is your boy. We're back with the facts, with the questions, with everything. And today, when we talk about Africa and the issues we have in Africa and all that, who is the front runner? It's not Africans. It's the West. You know, their military, their governments, their media, their money, their industries, their puppets. You know, you can name it all. And we need to know why they are always representing Africa in a bad image. Whenever you open the news about Africa, they will not show you a beautiful city. They will not show you a beautiful house. They will always show you struggling people. Why do they do that? When you open the news today about Africa, you will not see, thriving communities in Africa or any country. It might be Kenya, it might be Togo, it might be South Africa. Most of the time, they will show their Western audience a different type of Africa, Africa that is struggling, Africa that needs help, Africa that is very poor, you know. And that's one reason that we are still fighting this prejudice, this issue. How can we change it? They go there with their cameras, but when they take their videos, it looks like they were using a camera invented in the 1800s. How does that make sense? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. This was a very trending topic where it was talk about a lot of things: emotional manipulation, how Africa needs a savior, basically the white savior, how Africa needs to be taken care of, how Africa is like a baby, how Africa is failing, if one country in Africa or if one place is having a war, a civil war, whatever, it doesn't matter. They portray it as the whole African continent is failing. And the only person can save it is the white saviors, the Westerners, the same people that are, how do you put this, that are contributing to the violence, that are dividing people, creating issues that do not exist, creating hunger, saying you guys need aid, you guys need this. But what Africans are saying is just leave us alone, we don't need your aid, we don't need your money. We don't need anything from you. We got whatever we need. We got everything. Just let us be. Leave us alone. So when the media is talking about Africans, Africans, black people in Africa and all this, they talk about us if we are the troublemakers. Even though they came to us, they are the ones that divided us. They are the ones that made borders, split people, split brothers and sisters, made a condition for humans that are not very livable. They will come to you, your government is doing very well, you have a great government, and they will say, hey, this government is bad, it's dictator, we need to change it. We need to prop up a different government. We need democracy. One thing I do right now is if I ever hear any Western media or any Western governments talk about democracy or anything that has to do with government in Africa, government change, I go the other way. I root for the other person, because that's the only way they know is they say democracy, democracy, democracy. But at the end, they just want to replace that government with a puppet government. And the minute they do that, just know that that country is gone. It cannot be saved, because they will make sure they divide that country to the point of no return. So they can loot all the resources, everything they need. And then in the Western media, they betray the Africans as violent, fighting all the time, people that hate each other, people that are very extremist, people that are very anarchy driven, savages. And they betray that to their people, and the people believe it, So one of the reasons Africa cannot get away from the issues those Westerners has caused Africa for more than almost Since they got there, enslaving Africans, looting Africans, destroying Africans, destroying African cultures and languages. And they are still finding a way to blame us, to say, this is the Africans' fault. This is not our fault, even though they are the ones that did it. They are the cause behind it. And when they talk about how African societies are failing, no, they don't say, hey, this is our fault, we got to fix it. How can we, what do we need to change? No, they say, it's the African culture, it's the African way of living, it's the African family, all this. But they have to understand Africa has one of the most beautiful communities where families are very niche together. Families are very close together. Africa has a nuclear family, but they come there, they destroy it. They make sure that kids are not educated. And the worst thing is, most of the education that we receive in Africa is coming from Westerners. They are giving us a version of the education that they can make sure that we can be held back, we can be manipulated. They can give us desires that will not take us forward, only backward. So, but they find a way to blame us. So, what is my message to my Africans? My Africans is, this divide we see with each other is a divide that has been created. It's not a natural divide. You might think you don't like your brother, your African brother, maybe because of religion, because of culture, whatever. But that did not exist before the Westerners and the Europeans arrived. Do you understand me? So you have to look above and beyond that and see, you got to see the bigger image. You have to say, hey, like, what is going on? How can we change this? How can we develop as people, And that's what we need to do. Love you guys.